This is the theme for a show about food. They'll be chopping and dicing and simmering too. There'll be various ingredients mixed all together in various amounts that she doesn't quite measure. There's pots and there's pans and some knives and a sink, and once in a while an alcoholic drink. So watch when you can and you'll learn something new about spices and rices and some kind of stew. And this is the part where we tell you the name of the show.
Hi guys, I'm Jen Jacobs. Welcome to Fatkid. Today's episode is dedicated to my friend Lisa Herbert. We went to high school together in New England, specifically southeastern Massachusetts, in a town called Taunton. So basically, we both developed our love of seafood and of Portuguese cuisine, because in these areas, there's a lot of Portuguese. But I'm gonna show you how to make a fantastic lobster boil for your family at home. Here are our ingredients. Wine for the chef. Then we have, for my recipe, 3 beautiful lobsters that I'm just covering in a bowl and keeping them cool with a damp cloth for now until we're ready to use them. Then I have some little necks here. I think it's important to say that you can use any seafood that you want. A lot of Portuguese people like infusing octopus into their dishes, or you can use scallops or different sized shrimp or cod even if you want. So you have options, but this today is specifically a very special lobster boil for my family. So I have the little necks. We have put them in salted water that is roughly the salinity of the ocean. So what they'll do is they'll ingest the salt water and they'll expel the sand and the grit. So we've done that, and these guys are sitting here ready for us to go. My son is not a lobster fan, so we have some beautiful shrimp. You can, like I said, you can use any seafood you like in this. It's really, you just have to adjust the time that you put it into your pot. Some nice fresh Italian parsley, a lemon, tons of garlic. Like,
BAM!
Emerald doesn't even know from garlic. You got me? Then we have these ears of corn. We're gonna break those down into smaller pieces. A beautiful sweet Vidalia onion. My grocery store had these tricolor baby potatoes on sale, so I went for it. You can use regular potatoes and just cut them into about, this size piece right here. You see this puppy? Anyway, here's the Portuguese part, or at least the first part of it. Portuguese people have a sausage called chouriço. It is not at all the same thing as Mexican or Spanish chorizo. Those are a harder, sort of more assertive sausage. This is very you can squish it. Do you know what I mean? It's delicious. It's got all kinds of garlic and paprika and different spices. And then we have linguiça, which is not all that dissimilar from chouriço. Linguiça is a milder sausage and slightly smaller. And they both classically go in Portuguese food. For this recipe today, I've chosen both. You can choose one or the other. You can choose to use Italian sausage, but the Portuguese spices are probably not gonna jive, I'm gonna tell you. But you can use what my husband lovingly refers to as kielbasa, which in the real world where we all live is kielbasa, but whatever. So you get some of that, a stick of butter, the Goya Sazon con Azafrán. I'm gonna talk to you about this. So here's the deal. This has some warm spices in it, right? So it tones down really acidic stuff. It also has, for whatever purposes, some kind of saffron-esque herb or spice or whatever. That's why I started buying this. I am but a mere poor woman, and I cannot afford saffron on the regular, because it's delicious and it goes far, but it's super expensive. So if you want to enjoy Portuguese food and you don't want to pay for saffron, then this is really your best bet. And I use it really in everything. It also has MSG, so you have to be very careful if you're going to use it. If you have someone in your family who has an MSG allergy, just break down the components: turmeric, coriander, cumin, and then saffron. Unfortunately, you're going to have to buy it at that point because I don't know of another product. If you find another product, please message me. And then we have your regular old throwback can of beer. And you can use your fancy schmancy craft beers if you like, but just make sure the flavors are gonna go. Or you can use this old standby. I also have something called pimenta moída, which is a Portuguese hot crushed red pepper. You can get this in any supermarket. I can't imagine you can't get hot crushed red pepper in the supermarket. So that's the gist, and I'll show you as we go through different tools that I use and things like that, but I really just, I wanted to go through these and make sure you knew that they're interchangeable. Please use what you love in this recipe. So I'm working on my shrimp here that I'm using in this dish because my son doesn't like lobster. So normally I would leave the shells on the shrimp because they impart such beautiful flavor in the broth at the end, but because these are such large shrimp, there is an undervein down the bottom of the shrimp that most people, I don't know if they don't know about or they whatever, but this is a little vein that comes out from the underside as well. So I always clean those up. So what I'm gonna do is finish cleaning my shrimp and then I'll come back and show you what's next. The garlic really just needs to be a rough chop, and I will post the complete recipe, at least that I used, on the comments so that you can see, but it's a lot of garlic, but it's really rough chopped. I want just, it's almost obscene. I know. I'm also rough chopping my onion. I don't personally like a whole boiled onion. I think they get slimy and unpalatable. If you like that, leave your onion whole. That's totally you do you. With my corn on the cob, I like to break it down into smaller pieces so that everybody gets a nice little hunk of corn. I can't break this one, my husband will do it. But basically pieces of corn this size, and then just put them aside until you're ready to add them. I have my Portuguese sausage here. I have my chouriço and my linguiça. You can see the chouriço is in 2 sausages, and they both have a casing. So if you're a person that bites into a hot dog and likes that snap, you're gonna wanna leave the casing on. But if the casing kind of freaks you out, I'm gonna just show you how to remove it. You just cut the tip where it's tied. You can see where it pulls apart from the sausage, and you just wanna take it with your hands or with like a towel and just pull the casing off of the sausage if you don't like the natural casing. If you like it, you can leave it on, it's perfectly fine to eat. I'm cutting my sausages up into manageable pieces. I think I like the fact that I'm breaking everything down as opposed to leaving things whole, which is done in traditional lobster boils. But I feel like I want people to just get in there and get messy and get gross and shellacked with the sauce and enjoy the experience, because that's really what it's about. If you're gonna pay this kind of money for seafood, you really wanna have it be an experience for your family. It certainly has been here. Now that I have all of my ingredients prepped, I'm gonna show you how to put it together. If you think you can't do this, you're wrong. Get up off your butt and go and do something that challenges you. Thank you. Anyway, I'm gonna start with my onions. I have my pot preheating under medium heat with about 2 tablespoons or so of olive oil, and I'm gonna just add my onions, just like that, and my sausage, just like that. This is a really easy recipe in terms of it's pretty carefree. I'm also gonna add, again, what we call the pimenta moída, but you can certainly add whatever hot, wet pepper. You can even do the dry crushed red pepper flakes, and that's fine too. But just go along with what your family normally really likes in terms of heat index. I wish you could smell this. All right, so, and it's only onions and sausage already, but Portuguese sausage is, in my opinion, the far superior sausage. Just saying. So I'm gonna add some salt. I'm not gonna be shy with the salt because we've got a lot of stuff to season. So just get it all in there. A little bit of pepper. Remember, you have your hot pepper. Also, this sausage, the shitties and the linguiça are already cooked. So when you get them, they're already in a stage where you could eat them, but they're way better in other things. Like for breakfast, you can chop them up and make a hash, or you can serve them on the side. You can put this stuff on pizza. You can eat it grilled, or in the Portuguese restaurants they light it on fire in a dish and it comes out flaming. Because that casing on the outside is delicious when it's charred, but we're not doing that here for this. So my onions and sausages have been cooking for about 10 minutes. Now I want to add my potatoes. Again, you can use regular, I like a Yukon Gold potato. I find them really buttery without much work, and you can eat the skin so you don't have to peel them. They're just the best universal all-purpose potato I've ever found. They make fantastic mashed potatoes too, but that'll be in another episode. So I'm gonna add my cute little tricolor potatoes to my pot, and we're gonna start layering stuff, right? And it's about time to add now. I'm gonna add 2 packages of my Goya con azafrán. You can use ground cumin, turmeric, coriander, and saffron. So I'm gonna turn this around a little bit. I'm gonna cover it, and I'm gonna cook up these potatoes with the sausages and the onions for about another 10 to 15 minutes, and we will come back. So our potatoes and onions and sausages have been cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes, and now it's time to add everything else, start building the layers for this dish. So flatten everything out as best you can in your pan. I want to add, there's really a lot of garlic here. You can adjust the garlic to what you like, but the Portuguese cuisine is always very garlic forward in their recipes. So if you know that, then you know what to avoid. So, okay, so there's your garlic. And now we're gonna start layering. Let's mix the garlic around first, a little bit. Still on medium heat right now, but it's going pretty well. So we're gonna put our corn pieces, we're just gonna layer it out. Just like this. You wanna build almost like a rack made of corn cob for the lobster to sit on. So see that? There you go. All right, my friends. Couple things. Lobster. There are male lobsters and there are female lobsters. So I'm gonna take you through that. Couple things you can do when you have a lobster to figure out if it is a male or a female. I'm just gonna grab my glasses here and take you on a little lobster tutorial. So this guy here has these giant claws and a little tail, and that is how you know that that is a male lobster. This girl here has smaller claws and a broader tail, and these little flipper here things are crossed, okay? Usually in males they're not. The other thing you want to look for when you get lobsters from anywhere is these antennae that they have. If you see them and they're missing places, it's usually because they've been bitten off, so maybe that lobster's been in there a little while. But I also want to tell you that I never ever put lobster into a pot with these rubber bands on, so you have to be careful. So you hold your guy by his back. Hi, guy. Okay, so we're just gonna come over. Can you follow me over to the sink? And we're just gonna cut off these little suckers right here so they're not in our food. Who wants to eat boiled rubber bands? Come on. This guy's going in. You can't be faint of heart, people. I'm sorry. It's dog eat dog. It's girl eat lobster. Hey, our lobsters are all nestled, all snug in their beds. I'm gonna drain my little neck clams, which are very commonly paired in Portuguese food. They usually come in a broth with onions and peppers and Portuguese sausages with crusty bread to have alongside. So delicious. I'm just gonna layer everything right in there, guys. I'm just gonna add in our beer. these guys are just gonna take a delicious bath in some Budweiser or whatever snarky craft beer that you're into at the moment. I still love you. All right, so let's cover this up. Set our timer for about 15 minutes and then check it. If the clams are open, the lobsters are bright red, and the shrimp are curled and opaque, that means dinner's ready. So we'll check it in about 15 and we'll see if we need a little more time. So the sauce for this stuff is pretty rad already. What I like to do is have some nice crusty bread to dip. So we took a loaf of Italian bread that we bought for something else and we just never eaten, and we saved it. We toasted it up with a little olive oil. I'm taking a raw clove of garlic, a big fat one, cutting the root tip off and just rubbing it all over our toasted bread, one piece at a time, and the delicious flavor of the garlic will be all over when you go to dip it into your sauce from the seafood. Here comes dinner. Ooh, pretty. Although our shrimp is done, it doesn't look like our clams are done. So what I'm gonna do is give it another 2-3 minutes. So I strained everything out of our liquid and it looks delicious, but I still want to add my butter, which will gloss that sauce up. Plus, who doesn't dip their seafood in butter? Come on, that's the best part of seafood. Now we're gonna use about a half of a lemon's worth of juice. Make sure you don't get the pits in there. So just squeeze it right over your own hand, hold the pits, and throw them away. So I'm ladling some of this delicious sauce in, a couple of ramekins to put right beside. It will replace what you're using to dip your lobster in as butter. Trust me, this sauce is way better. Now I'm just gonna drown all this gorgeous seafood, sausage, and potatoes, and corn in this beautiful liquid. I've also, again, reserved a ramekin full for each of us for dipping. This dish is a free-for-all, so I'm just topping it with some fresh Italian parsley for color and a little earthiness. And here's the dish. My goodness. If you have a significant other, I would like you to ask them to leave the room right now, because this plate is so sexy that you're gonna wanna smack somebody. My family and I are gonna sit down and enjoy this delicious dinner. I hope Lisa Herbert and her family sits down and enjoys it as well. If you love my videos, please watch them, like them, and please share them.